Oh. Hello everybody, especially the new faces. I hope that you hear me and you are still having 2 to 3 minutes to do our little warm-up game, and then we will kickstart the meeting. Hello Alexandra, you are also a new face, I believe. As I mentioned, 2 more minutes to do the warm-up game and then we will begin.
Can you send the link to the warm-up game to the chat, please? I'm too lazy to copy it.
Working on it. My computer is slow, so give me a moment. And you have the link in the chat, feel free to enjoy. Beautiful evening, everybody. I think that we are having a record in the attendance today, and I see many new faces, or at least I assume that they are new faces. My name is 𝗏𝘁𝘂𝗺. For those who doesn't know me, I'm going to explain you a little bit about this forum of Storytellers, and then I'm going to give a word to my partner Gabi, who is going to walk you through today's poetry session. So for the very beginning, what is Forum of Storytellers? It's an open platform for anybody who is interested in sharing stories in an international space. And we are doing it so we can share, listen, and learn and get inspired from people all around the globe. We are doing it through playing games, sharing stories, talking, listening, and so on. These meetings are happening once every month, usually for 1 hour. Last thing to mention, this is a follow-up of Transformation Project, which was a training course on media literacy. It was funded by Erasmus+, and most of the time we are recording the session, so also today we are recording the session. If there is somebody who has an issue with being recorded, please let me know in a chat or somehow, and I will stop the recording. And that is everything from me for now. I will stop sharing, and I will give the word to Gabi.
Thank you, 𝗏𝘁𝘂𝗺, and thank you, everyone. It's lovely to see so many people interested in poetry and sharing around, and also some familiar faces. It's lovely to see you. So yes, the idea for today is that we are going to be sharing a bit of inspiring words, poets, and artists from our places. And this all started because of the richness and the variety of the groups and how we have been exchanging in the last months, but also because of our interest in languages. So the idea is that if you have come prepared with a little bit of a poem or piece of writing from a poet or artist from your hometown or your country, and it will be lovely to hear a little bit about that in the original language. So the invitation will be to share it with others first in the original language, and then if we feel like it, to share a little bit of a context and or literal translation of it into English. And the idea also is, the invitation perhaps, is that when someone is sharing, we all turn off our camera, so we forget a little bit that we are being seen and we are with others in the space, and that person included, if they feel like it, they can turn off the camera as I am doing right now, and then share their poem or context for all of us. Is that clear?
I would also add to it, in case that this artist from your country is you, your poem is also very much welcome in whatever language it has been written. So feel free to show us a piece of your soul. Back to Gabi.
Thank you, 𝗏𝘁𝘂𝗺. And yes, indeed, I was considering now while creating the Dadaistic poem, I have also some parts in Spanish, but I think you will appreciate that, hopefully, even though it's like legal words. Anyway, will anyone like to start, or should I start with mine? I'm very excited with mine, I have to confess. I'm just like... So yeah, maybe I should give it a try first. Yeah? Good. Okay, nice. So this poem I'm going to share. First, I will invite you all to turn off your cameras and enjoy the little piece of storytelling I have for you. This poem is from my home country, which is Venezuela. I'm originally from there. I'm Latino. And we have historically have a certain kind of tension regarding race and how do we represent beauty there. And this is a poem from one of our most famous poets, Andrés Eloy Blanco, and he wrote this poem around 1830, 1832, something like that. And it's a little bit about that, about the representation of beauty and how do we believe that certain physiological features are more beautiful than others. So it has been recognized as a claim or a song, and literally it has been made into a song. It has been claimed as a song against racism and pro-diversity. So I'm going to share it with you in Spanish first, and then I'm going to read a little bit of translation into English. In Spanish, it says something like this. ¿No hay un pintor que pintara angelitos de mi pueblo? Yo quiero angelitos blancos, con angelitos morenos. Ángel de buena familia, no basta para mi cielo. Si queda un pintor de santos, si queda un pintor de cielos, que haga el cielo de mi tierra, con los tonos de mi pueblo, con su ángel de perla fina, con su ángel de medio pelo, con sus ángeles catires, con sus ángeles morenos, con sus angelitos blancos, con sus angelitos indios, con sus angelitos negros, que vayan comiendo mango por las barriadas del cielo. In English, it will be something like this. Painter born in my land with the foreign brush. Painter that followed the course of so many old painters. Although the Virgin might be white, paint for me little black angels. Isn't there a painter who painted little angels from my town? I want little white angels, but together with brown angels. Angels of good family are not enough for my heaven. If there is a painter of saints left, if there is a painter of skies left, let heaven make my earth with the tones of my people, with the fine pearl angel, with the half-haired angel, with blonde angels, with brown angels, with little white angels, with little indigenous angels, with little black angels. Let them eat mango through the slums of heaven. That's it from my side. I wanted to share this one because for me it's a reminder of the beautiful colors in the people and in the land in Venezuela. And I wanted you to get a sense of how we are over there and what I bring with me when you meet me. That's it from my side. Who would like to go next? Alexandra, maybe I see lots of movement, but no pressure.
Me, I can go. I can be next one.
Thank you, Alexandra.
I can read my own poem or also like from my favorite author. I'm from Macedonia originally, and I like writing poetry as well. First, I can read my own poem.
Please, please. Is
Yes.
it okay if we turn off our cameras and enjoy the poem with you, Alexandra?
Yes, of course. It's a short poem I wrote about nostalgia and the feelings what you're... Каков збор е носталгијата? Како да е преплавена река која навира од секоја вена низ нашето тело. И го гали и преплавува секој скриен и недостапен прашлив агол. Како да е пожар што ги грее градите после мрзлив и снежен зимски ден. Како да е распламтено пеколно огниште, оградено во нашето кревко и растреперено невино срце. Како да е јато, излудени птици, чии плач и крици извираат како од бунар. Како тие исти птици 𝗙𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁 да го глодаат секое кожинче од зидовите на нашиот длабок стомак. Како да е понор кој извира од секоја мозочна вилга и допира до сите ковчиња на стапалата. Како скапоцен и добро чуван диамант кој решил да се предаде па кристално паѓа по лицето и образите. Како да е латица од ружа која ни ги гали дланките. како прегласна нота која не доведува до страшна енергија и лудило. Тоа е чувството, тоа е носталгијата. So that was my poem about nostalgia and the emotions. I can also read another poem from my favorite author. That is love poem about one woman that was the poet in love with. The poet is called 𝗙𝗵𝗁 and the song is the poem is called When I Love 𝗙𝗫𝗁. Која љубев 𝗙𝗫𝗁 како да калеме в светлина на мракот, како да топев снегови фатени во движење, како да станував единствен сведок за бакнежот меѓу металот и громот. Кога ја љубев 𝗙𝗫𝗁, како да пронајдував брзина на каменот, како да одделував душата од телото, како да го палев барутот на тилот од смилот и трендафилот. Кога ја љубев 𝗙𝗫𝗁, како да внесував летен воздух во воздухот зимен, како да ги откривав сите рудници на злато, како да добивав телефонска врска со сонот од сите успани работници. Од ја љубев 𝗙𝗫𝗁, како што ги отворав пролетните аптеки, сместени во гласот од славеот. Како што славеот ги спријателуваше и небото и земјата, како што таа ми одземаше тежината. Додека трчав кон неа, како што не можев да видам ништо освен неа, како што таа живееше додека јас умирав, како што јас не знаев како би умрел, ако таа не се родеше. Кога ја љубев 𝗙𝗫𝗁, како да учествував во создавањето на првата македонска држава. So, in English a little bit, when I love this woman, is like I was finding the light in the darkness. I was melting snows, caught in the movements. I was finding the speed of the stone. I was separating the soul from the body. And all the feelings that the poet was feeling about the loved woman.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you so much.
I'm also thinking about maybe you can translate little bit for us the poem you read before, your own.
Yes, just a second. So what kind of word is a nostalgia? It's like a flooded river that is coming from all the way from our body and is cleaning all hidden angle from our body. The nostalgia is like a fire that is hitting our chest after the winter snow. The nostalgia is like a fireplace that is hidden in our innocent and feared heart. It's like crazy birds that are crying and flooding. Those same birds are eating everything, all parts of our stomach. It's like a river that is coming out of our brain and is touching all the parts of our feet. It's like a good hidden diamond that decided to give up, so it's like sadly coming out from through our face. It's like a flower that is touching our hands. It's like a loud note that is feeding us with crazy energy and craziness. That's shortly.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Alexandra. And really appreciate the fact that in English, perhaps there are some, I don't know if you have the same feeling, but when I was translating the Spanish one, I was like, this is the word, but it doesn't encapsulate. There is something about translating the poetry that is a bit challenging, so I appreciate also the generosity in translating for us on
Yeah.
spot.
You cannot find the right words, and I don't know, in your language you have different vocabulary, more wide, and you know more words to explain something.
And also the sonority.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
one of my
the
things.
sound
So
of the poem.
the sound of
Yeah.
it, definitely.
Spanish is so like more poetic than English for
Yeah.
me.
Well, for me as well. I was like, oh, this doesn't make. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alexandra.
Thank you.
I will ask you one more thing, and I will do the same as well. I will put the name of the poem, both in Spanish and in English, and the poet in the chat. So you can take a note, and I will invite you and ask you, please, Alexandra, to do the same, including, of course, your own.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Who would like to go next? Yeah, no, we're still feeling and processing poems from Gabi and Alexandra.
I can go.
Thank you, Julieta, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yep. Hi,
Go.
so I've been thinking, I'm not a big fan of poetry. I don't really read that much poetry, but today is a special day. It's actually my father's birthday, and it's also the birthday of a poet, of a poetress. I don't know, of a girl poet that I really like. She's called 𝗬𝗻𝗻𝗵𝗻, and she is from my hometown, Burgas. When she was 17 years old, she actually took her life with some pills because she was feeling very depressed by the unfairness of the world. And her poems are really touching me because we live by the sea. It's a sea town, and she really writes beautifully about the sea in our town. But today I chose to share with you her farewell poetry. It's very short, and I will translate it because it's just a few words. But yeah, bear with me. Измамена, младост, прошка, сън, спомен, зад стените на голямата къща, тайна. Okay, so it's very short, as you can see, it's just a few words, but it really, they're very powerful words because it's just the last things that she wrote, and they translate as the following: betrayed, youth, forgiveness, dream, memory, behind the walls of the big, big house, secret. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks.
Wow. Julieta, thank you. I'm getting some goosebumps here. And I also noticed we say in Spanish, cortado is like the cutted nature of it. It's like word.
Yeah.
I also got that like hammering a bit in my heart. Thank you.
Usually she writes a lot more than just a few words, but I've been going through some of her things and I can't find the ones that I really like that are quite short. And those are really long and I won't be able to translate them for you. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Julieta. And as I said, please put her name also in the chat so we can also find out a bit more. I love Google Translate. I mean, it's not perfect, but many times it's like, you can get a sense of the poet's word. Thank you so much. Who would like to go next? We're still processing. I know. I'm like, okay, next one. But anyone that has any poem or maybe you don't have a particular kind of piece that you would like to share with us, but maybe a name of someone that you would like to recommend and a bit about their work and why do you invite us to discover that poet, or why have you written poetry in the past and why is it important or a mean of expression for you?
I can go next.
Thank you, Teresa.
So I am traveling at the moment and I dance a lot as I travel, and somehow I made this habit of writing down these poetic responses after the dance. So that's what I would like to read, these two short poetic responses to my dance, meeting the landscape of nature and of other dancers. And it's in English, so I will not translate it into anything else.
Thank you.
I listen to the empty sky, asking, questioning, asking. And I see the blue clarity of her open eyes. Slowly, I become her, tasting each new wave, mourning each drop that was too afraid to ask for forgiveness. And I hear the creatures of horizon as they softly whisper, "Enter the sky, and you will never fall." So I enter the nights without a ladder to climb out of the window. I enter your heart to taste the proximity of your tenderness. And I cradle your anger with my bare feet, side to side, sea to sky, my tongue erasing the salt from your skin, as I am unsure of all the answers leading me away from you. Part 2. I open my skin, enter the pores, and my emerald heart will greet you. And I will ripe just enough so you can peel me like an orange. And finally, smell my solitude. I open my bones to catch you. Crush me like a sandcastle until my organs become part of you. And my idea of the time spent together is the following. I bring my body, you bring the sand. And with the silver crabs, we build a new universe. And I want you to teach me how to love my body. As gently as the mud soaks into the openings of my skull. As urgently as the water crushes the shells into the soft sand, caressing the spine of the earth. And the guardians of my butt cheeks are always listening, softly smiling, inviting you to make a wish. After all, my favorite ice cream flavor is you. The end.
That was awesome.
Thank you, Teresa. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps here. And especially with the context of imagining you moving.
Yeah.
And embodying this, for me, it's like... And I do have a question if you want to share about the landscapes and where are you at the moment and where this these ones arose?
Yeah. Okay. So the part one was in Italy, in Trieste, where I was at the sea, but still a little bit distant from the sea because it was quite cold.
Mm-hmm.
And the part two is Portugal, where it's very, very warm, and I spend the most of the time on the beach and dancing on the beach. So, yeah, these are two landscapes. They're both at the sea, at the ocean, but in very different way.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you, Grace.
welcome.
And thank you also for the generosity of sharing it with us. I see, Julieta, I think someone asked to post it if you're comfortable. And please, as I said to the previous ones, with your full name as well, if you, or your artistic name, to honor your work and the beauty that you're bringing. Thank you. Who would like to go next? Okay, while people are feeling, I want to confess something, Teresa. While listening to you, I was like, I need to know where this is, because I imagine myself receiving a massage. Like, I had the physical sensation of receiving a massage in the beach. And I was like, this is connected with body and beach for some reason. To me, there is something here with the orange and the explosion. So that's why it's where my curiosity came from and my embodied reaction to it. So thank you for that.
Thank you for sharing your reaction. It's actually like I wasn't sure if sharing these poems out of context would make sense, because I usually just share the poetry with the group of dancers. So it's like really interesting to see that actually the fact that it happened from the experience of embodiment is kind of being transmitted through the poem is important for me to hear. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Teresa. Anyone else would like to share a little bit?
I would like to share, but I'm also very nervous.
Okay. Is there something that we can do to support with the nervousness, Rebecca?
Probably not. I just have to convince myself to do it.
If you feel like it, will be most grateful to hear what you have to share. And yeah, if that support, we can also turn off the cameras as we have done before.
Actually, I
The
think
opposite.
I would like the opposite, yeah. Because what I would like to share is a poem that I wrote, and it was always meant to be spoken aloud, and I always envisioned myself speaking to the people. And if I'm just speaking to a computer, it's a bit more impersonal.
It breaks it. It breaks the magic. So we are here for you. Whenever you're ready. It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
Please bear with me. Okay. This poem is called Here I Come. Be still and know that I am flawed. Mere copy of a copy of a copy of a corpse of that timeless force. A jigsaw puzzle yearning to connect. So I give away my pieces to be there for you, perfect. I wish for a connection, but instead I wear a muzzle. Meditation, medication, mind over the muscle. My deepest fear, my facade. Be still and know that I am odd. Be still and know that I am broad. My spirit's but the wind, way too vast for a body so tiny, way too fast. Restless power, irresistible lover. With each breath or word expressed, I mingle and merge with the rest. I don't know where I end, I don't know where I begin. The irony of that is my struggle to fit in. I long for the sense of belonging. I belong to the feeling of longing. Be still and know that I am odd. Be still and know that I'm a fraud. I'm a copy of a copy of a copy of a dream, A repetition mission, a motherfucking meme. Meditation, medication, muscle over mind. My body knows the truth. I just need to unwind. And when I do, it's be still and know that I am God, and you are, and we all share the divine quality. I'm God in solitude, I'm God in unity. And no longer I need to breathe the air of your lungs to be connected and whole. The air I seek is fresh and mine. The words I speak are true, divine. Be still and know that we are God. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thanks so much for the journey and for the trip. Thank you. Would you like also please to share the title and the name also in the chat? Wow. Thank you. Will anyone else like to share their own poetry or any poet, any artist that they find inspiring in any language? It's also okay, I'm aware that in the event, we also said that it's okay just to come over and hang out and receive. So also your presence is more than enough. I don't want anyone to be like, oh, did I need to prepare something like mandatory? No, that's not the case. It's just in case anyone else would like to share. If not, your presence and sharing is more than enough.
I would like to share.
Thank you, Raluca.
Okay. I made a little visual for the poem. Okay, let me see. As 𝗏𝘁 knows, I'm not very familiar with technology, so it's a problem for me for sharing, but let me see. Okay, let's see if this is... No, I will just send it into the... I think I can send it into the group, maybe? But the image is like a picture? I'm not sure. In any case, I will read it first and then I'll figure it out with the...
How to share it with us.
Yeah. Okay, so let's not spoil the magic. Okay, so I come from Romania, and this poem is from a very dear poet of mine. His name is 𝗙𝗻𝗁, and the poem is about love. It's called in Romanian 𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗁, which means evocation or conjuring, and it's about conjuring love in different forms. It's my favorite poem because it's something that I used to feel about love, and then it kind of transformed along the way, and it's a bit different now. And if I would be to visualize it, back then it was more about the sea, and now is more about the earth. So in Romanian, it sounds like this. Ea era frumoasă ca umbra unei idei. A piele de copil mirosea spinarea ei, a piatră proaspăt spartă, a strigăt dintr-o limbă moartă. Ea nu avea greutate, dar respirarea. Râzândă și plângândă, cu lacrimi mari, era sărată ca sarea slăvită la o spețe de barbari. Ea era frumoasă ca umbra unui gând. Între ape, numai ea era pământ. and the English version. She was beautiful as the shadow of an idea. Her back smelled of baby skin, of freshly broken stone, or like a shout in a dead tongue. She was weightless like breathing, laughing and crying with big tears. She was salty, as salt glorified at barbarian feasts. She was beautiful, as the shadow of a thought. Between the waters, she alone was land. Okay, that's the poem.
Thank you. Mulțumim.
Cu plăcere!
Yeah, thank you. I love not only the sonority, but also the fact that after you read, or like Julieta, like, well, what we have been sharing, Alexandra and so on, Teresa, I feel in love. And I'm like, I want to go out and hug everyone here. And with Rebecca as well, like, sharing the pain of and the struggle of things. You make me feel things. So thank you so much this afternoon of feelings. Can you also share, please, Raluca, the name and the author of it?
Yes, of course. I already wrote it in the chat.
And the picture. I'm very curious. I cannot see the chat. Can you see the chat? I'm in this tablet and I don't know even how to use it. But, you know, because my laptop broke. So, life. In the midst of the feelings of afternoon of feelings, also afternoon of reality, of bearing with technology. Would anyone else like to share? So we can slowly start closing the afternoon poetry. Is that a cue for you to share, Wojtek?
Well, as always, I prepared something, and as always, I counted with not having time to share. So it's a question.
Aww.
But sure. I prepared something super short. I'm actually also a little bit prone to share some of my own poetry, but I think that we will definitely start with the thing I want to show you. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah. So you should see a little street poem from Timo. Timo is a guy I want to tell you about. People who are familiar with Brno probably know who it is. Timo is our little 𝗙𝗂𝗁𝗁 from Brno city. He is a incognito guy who is very good with hiding who he actually is, but he has a very specific style, and he is putting his poems, pictures, sentences all around the Brno as a street art. And they are shorter pieces, they are longer pieces, but I went with something shorter. It's usually very Dadaistic, so yeah, we will see. Kdo nevěří, kdo nechce vejít do dveří, kdo ujíždí pohledem, kdo schovává se pod ledem. Which means something like, who doesn't believe, who doesn't want to enter the door, who is running away with his eyes, who is hiding themselves under the ice. The technology is doing funny things. So yeah, this is our little Brno 𝗙𝗂𝗁𝗁. I'm going to put him to the chat. Timo from Brno. And if you Google this, you can find the number of his pieces, but mostly in Czech.
Thanks so much, Wojtek. I was thinking we have this, and I got inspired by that. We have this in Spanish language, kind of a movement, you could say. It's called acción poética, so poetic action, whatever. So poetic action Bogotá, poetic action Mexico, poetic action Madrid, you know, like acción poética somewhere. and it's people that also started writing poetry in the streets, mostly about love and unity. And apparently it's decentralized, which is there is no like a person or committee organizing anything, but actually we could come together in our city and be like, do we want to be Acción Poética in our city? And it's in Spanish language, mostly around Latin America and Spain. And I was thinking how it has inspired so many people around, and maybe Timo is also doing that in Brno. I would love to find, randomly a poem like, oh, what is this? I guess it's very exciting every time you find one.
There is a huge community who is stalking Brno and searching for whatever his new piece is going to be. So yeah, it's a culture thing basically. So I am making myself notes. So just a quick check. We are still having 𝗙𝗍cie, 𝗙𝗏𝗂, 𝗙𝗁𝗂, and 𝗻𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗃, who didn't join us. So in case that you would like to share something from your side, this is your moment.
They're winking at us. They're like, meh.
Maybe you can at least say hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. I think I have just like a 5-word random I don't know, just a gibberish that I wrote.
Would you like to share that, Terry? But no pressure.
We love gibberish.
Yeah, I just have to find it. That's the problem with gibberish. It gets lost quite easily.
Okay, maybe while Terry tries to find it, we could ask if anyone else would like to share something. If not, then we slowly close up. Next time I will take a bongo and we'll start here like next one.
I think
Or
I
next-
managed how to share my visual. Maybe I can intervene here a bit for breathing. Let me see. I'm not super sure, but let's see. Okay. So I think it's something like...
Oh, yes!
So yeah, this is what I meant, that now I see the poetry more like related to earth than water. So I felt like this image represented very well the fragility of love, but also strength. So yeah, this is...
Wow. You found this one, like the graphic representation online?
Yeah. Canva to the rescue,
Yeah.
But it really connected. I really connected to the image, and I was searching for a personal picture of it, and then I said to myself, "No, it's not working anymore because I'm not feeling that image anymore. So this is suitable now."
Thank you. Thank you, Raluca. Terry, did you find it?
Yeah, I found it. It doesn't really have a name. It's like, I think it's like kind of 3 ones or two poems. So the first one is, I feel alone, wanting to run away, yet here I stay, for sights to be seen and discovered. Scared like a little mouse, which has lost her way. Be brave, repeats an inside voice. You may be small, but braver than most. It's kind of like the first one. And the second one is, it's time to make a mess, blast some music, jump on the bed, and slowly fade away. One chapter ends, but that doesn't mean there will be no remains. These are just some stuff I wrote randomly and doesn't really have a name.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. As Julieta said, we love gibberish and no-name poets or poetry. And especially when they are personal, I really appreciate the generosity in sharing it with us. Thank you. I celebrate that. Oof, and I was thinking, Voigt, actually, I've got really inspired today about a project on poetry and embodiment. I'm just like, because I was like, yeah, we should do this more often in person. But yeah, that's for future. Hopefully, from this afternoon of feelings, some initiatives are arising as well.
Well, Rui, who is joining us right now, if I remember correctly, wanted to do a project about poetry and music. Teresa is doing a project about embodiment, and obviously she is being inspired by embodiment for poetry, so I think there is a plenty of space for connection. Well, Rui, are you with us?
Yeah.
Hola, Rui.
Nice to hear you and see you in the last minute. We are slowly coming to an end, but we have an opportunity for people to share their poems. So maybe if you also brought something here to us, this could be your time.
Yeah, as everybody shares.
Yes, we have shared, and we also had some Dada poems that we might share at the end. But if you want to share yours, if you have someone that you would like to share with us, Voigt, more than welcome.
Yeah, I can.
How we are doing it is that we turn off the camera to kind of enjoy the little ride storytelling that the person is reading or sharing with us. But if you prefer, we can also turn them on if you, however you feel more comfortable for you.
Okay, I can share. I just like to maybe put a bit of context.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Because this is a very maybe personal poem that I find it interesting. In Portugal, we have a lot of poets, so a lot of writers, as you possibly may know. So this is kind of an unusual poem because it looks like text, prose instead of poems, and it comes as a writer that wrote like a big book of poetry, and starts like with normal poetry, but slowly the poems begin to shrink to a point where it just becomes like a word with a sentence with two words. And it starts now, it then like starts to put two words and like opening up, but as like more an explanation, a mental explanation of the content. So this is one of the last poems he wrote in that book. And should I read it in English or Portuguese?
If you have both versions, how we have been doing it is perhaps first in Portuguese, so we get a sense of what is around, and then in English to kind of complete the picture.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I turn this, right? Can everybody listen?
Yes.
Ok. Gesto, de Luís Miguel Nava. Que cansativa que a polícia é, suspirou Matilde, fechando a janela. Depois, sorrindo do seu próprio comentário, deu 2 passos no aposento e relanceou os olhos pelo espelho, que a penumbra como que apagara. Foi aí que se lembrou de uma mulher que vira 3 ou 4 dias antes, ao volante de um carro que parara junto ao seu, esperando que o sinal abrisse. Aproveitando aqueles breves momentos, a mulher mirara-se no retrovisor e, Depois de levar um dedo aos lábios e o molhar com a língua, passaram-o pelas sobrancelhas. Matilde puxou uma cadeira para o centro da sala e sentou-se, sem conseguir deixar de pensar naquele gesto, à luz do qual todos os móveis que a cercavam pareciam ganhar raízes no seu espírito. São gestos, assim, que encorpam a vida, que lhe dão espessura, pensou ela. Tinha a certeza de que, enquanto se lembrasse daquele gesto e da mulher que o executara, o instante em que o captara continuaria a existir, tal como ela naquele preciso momento existia ali, naquela sala, deliberadamente aliada do aparato policial montado nas ruas adjacentes. Devido a uma qualquer concentração perfeitamente inócua, e que só no caso de nas próximas horas nada haver no mundo digno de atenção, mereceria umas escassas linhas nos jornais do dia imediato. Que peso teria aquela manifestação em comparação com o gesto da mulher que passara o dedo, molhado de cuspo, pelas sobrancelhas? Saberiam aqueles homens, armados até aos dentes e distribuindo barreiras de arame farpado ao longo da avenida, que o que eles supunham ser este momento, amanhã já não teria existido? As feições da mulher haviam começado, é certo, a diluir-se-lhe na memória, onde, de resto, o automóvel em que ela se encontrava e mesmo o seu cabelo já não tinham qualquer cor. Talvez esses pormenores funcionassem como catalisadores e contribuíssem para que o instante em que Matilde, a intervir, através dos vidros dos dois carros, se perpetuasse para além da sua contingência. Mas não. Matilde estava certa de que isso pouco importaria. Fosse a mulher loira ou morena, gorda ou magra, o que na realidade havia de marcante é que levara um dedo à boca e às sobrancelhas e que, sem disso poder ter consciência, colocara assim, ali, um travão no tempo, dando consistência a qualquer coisa sobre a qual os nossos gestos normalmente não produzem mais efeito que os de quem se industriasse a desenhar cruzes na água. Maybe now in English.
Go ahead.
This is a lot about memory and how the brain works, how we remember things, that they morph.
How they crystallize and how they
and also maybe it's a strong theme for me because I try to remember a lot of things, like why, like our memory is what makes us.
We
also
got some company over here,
but we also have to cut a lot of things so not to overwhelm. So,
would you like to share a little bit of that in English? Do you have the English translation for it? Thank you.
A Gesture by Luís Miguel Nava. How tiresome the police are, sighed Mathilde, closing the window. Then, smiling at her own comment, she took 2 steps into the room and glanced at the mirror, which had almost gone out of the shadows. It was then that she remembered a woman she had seen 3 or 4 days ago, around a car that had stopped beside hers, waiting for the light to turn. Taking advantage of those brief moments, the woman had looked at herself in the rear-view mirror and, after putting a finger to her lips and wetting it with her tongue, had run it over her eyebrows. Mathilde pulled a chair to the center of the room and sat down. unable to stop thinking about that gesture, in the light of which all the furniture that surrounded her seemed to take root in her spirit. It's gestures like that that make life fuller, that give it thickness, she thought. She was sure that as long as she remembered that gesture and the woman who had performed it, the moment in which she had captured it would continue to exist, just as she existed at that very moment, in that room, deliberately oblivious to the police apparatus set up in the adjacent streets. Owing to some perfectly innocuous concentration, and that just in case there was nothing in the world worthy of attention in the next few hours would deserve a few lines in the newspapers of the next day. What weight would that expression have compared to the gesture of the woman who had run her finger wet with spit over her eyebrows? Did those men, armed to the teeth and distributing barbed wire barriers along the avenue, know that what they supposed to be this moment, tomorrow would no longer exist? The woman's features had begun, it is true, to fade in her memory, where, moreover, the car she was in and even her hair no longer had any color. Perhaps these details act as catalysts and contributed to the moments in which Mathilde had glimpsed her through the windows of the two cars, perpetuated beyond their contingency. But no, Mathilde was sure it wouldn't matter whether the woman was blonde or brunette, fat or thin. What was really striking was that she had put a finger to her mouth and eyebrows, and that, without being able to be aware of it, she had thus put a brake on time, giving consistency to something on which our gestures normally have no more effect than those of someone who takes the trouble to draw crosses in the water.
Obrigado, Rui.
Gracias.
I'm thinking, well, not thinking actually, I'm feeling.
Really?
Yeah. Thank you for that, and thank you for sharing and coming over, all of you. I am aware of the time, so the last thing you will hear from me is that I will ask 𝗀𝘁 hopefully to take the notes and the names of the authors, and we put it in our Facebook group. And we invite you all to, if you are not part already, to be part of it, where we will also share what is the topic for next meeting and also when are we meeting next, if you would like to keep in touch. No worries, like you don't have to come all the time, but you are more than welcome to do so if the topic calls you, and also you would like to keep sharing this initiative that we have created. And now it goes to 𝗀𝘁.
Well, first of all, my amazement because you shared with them exactly what I wanted to share, join our Facebook group, etc., etc. So you are amazing bitch as always. Before we are going to close this, I am having two things. One of them is a question to the crowd, or maybe an invitation. If you're gonna have an idea what you would like to have a next forum of storytellers to be focused on, write me a message on Facebook or something. We will collect your ideas, we will select the best, or we will reuse them in the future. So hopefully whatever you will bring, we will implement it sooner or later. And before we're gonna say goodbye to each other, how many of you do have your Dadaistic poems? I do. Good. So is there somebody who would like to show this to us and maybe read a little bit? Gabi?
Yeah, I can go with mine. It's a great start. It says, I have no idea. Co-creation, Spanish nationality. Economía comercializante, la sociedad se regirá por estos estatutos. Introducing 8 people. See if they are single.
I have 2 dadaistic poems that I actually created a couple of years ago, so I didn't do them today, and they are in Slovak. I can actually probably share them via screen. I think that could be the best, because they are nice and colorful. If I figure out how to do that.
It says the 4th button from the right.
Yeah, sure, let's do this. Okay. So do you see it?
Yep.
Okay. I will also read it. Prinieslo oči. Zabite pohodové a exotické. Užite si koniec pomocou vlastnej krvi. Jeden pokus. Našli ste sa? Translated to English, it's something like, it brought eyes. Kill the nice and exotic. Enjoy the end by your own blood. One chance. Have you found yourself? That's it.
Thank you very much. Someone else before I will go? Somebody? Good. Then I will share with you my poem translated straight away because it is in Czech. Where? Never. Prague politicians once. They warn before the flu. Fear. Clown is demolishing the most spaces. Voting is a business as well. But I am a beer artist and I don't drink people, just stuff. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful month and hopefully see you in 30 days from today. Ciao people.